Every writing course you've ever taken taught you craft, plot structure, character arcs, show don't tell, pacing, dialogue, the hero's journey, save the cat, story grid, all of it. And I want to be clear, that stuff matters. There are people out there teaching it brilliantly, and if you aren't studying craft, well, you're not a professional. But I want to ask you something seriously. How many of those courses did you finish? And of the ones you finished, how many books did you finish writing afterwards? Because here's what I've noticed after 35 years of studying what makes people succeed and what makes them quit. Most authors don't have a craft problem. They have a motivation problem. And nobody in the writing world is addressing that because motivation is not what writing courses do. Today, I want to talk about what's actually stopping you and why it has almost nothing to do with how much you know about writing. But I need to start with something a little embarrassing. It took me 13 years to finish my second novel. Now, lest you think that's some kind of badge of honor that I labored in the trenches and emerged with a Pulitzer Prize, let me assure you it is not. What it actually means is I had an idea for a book, started it, stopped it, started it again, stopped it again for over a decade, while life kept moving around me. The day job, the kids, the weeds in the front yard, the neighbors were definitely talking about all of it. And here's the thing. I wasn't lazy. I've helped top performing sales teams. I've been paid lots of money to speak to Fortune 500 companies about the things I've learned. I've launched businesses. I know how to work. I know how to be disciplined. And I still couldn't finish the book. Why? Well, because I kept losing sight of what finishing it would mean. I'd get bogged down in a chapter or a plot hole or honestly just the sheer weight of it, and I'd stop seeing the possibility. And the moment you stop seeing the possibility, it's over. I've watched it happen with thousands of salespeople over the years, and I did the exact same thing with my own writing. That realization is what eventually led me to finish that book, and then it led me to write a different book. A book about why authors quit and what you can do about it. Because when I started talking to other authors, I realized I was not alone. Not even close. Now, I want to be very clear about writing courses. I'm not here to dump on them. I've paid most of them real money to learn the craft, and I am genuinely grateful for what they offer. I literally couldn't write a novel without them, and I refer back to them more times than I can count. As such, I have the utmost respect for the people teaching them. Writing courses are really good at teaching you what to do. They are almost completely silent on why you stop doing it. Think about it. When you hit a wall in your manuscript, and you will, what does a writing course give you? Usually more information, more craft, more technique. And sometimes that's the answer. But most of the time, when you're staring at a blank page at 10 o'clock at night after a full day of work and the kids are finally in bed and you've got about 45 minutes before you need to sleep, your problem is not that you don't know enough about the 3-act structure. Your problem is that you don't feel like it, or you're scared, or you've been away from the manuscript so long you don't know how to get back in it. Or you've quietly started believing you're not a real writer anyway, so what's the point? See, that's not a craft problem. That's a mindset problem. It's a motivation problem. And what I've learned in 35 years of sales training is that there are laws at work, as fixed and reliable as the law of gravity, that determine whether a person finishes or quits, whether they push through or walk away. And those laws don't care whether you're selling insurance or writing a novel. They're inescapable, hence the title. I wrote a book called The 7 Inescapable Laws of Author Motivation. The subtitle is Stop Running, Start Finishing. And I want to introduce you to all 7 laws here, not to teach them, because that's what the book is for. But check these out, because I think just the names are going to hit some of you right where you live. Law number 1 is the law of change. Nothing will be different tomorrow unless you do something different today. That sounds obvious, but most people have never actually applied it. Law number 2 is the law of the long road. There are no shortcuts. And the sooner you make peace with that, the faster you'll actually get there. Law number 3 is the law of the page. Nothing happens until you get words on the page. Not outlines, not research, not thinking about it in the shower. Words on the page. Law number 4 is the law of the arena. You cannot improve in isolation. At some point, you have to get in the game and take your lumps. Law number 5 is the law of the hour. You have more time than you think. You're just not protecting it. Law number 6 is the law of the reader. Your book is not for you. The moment you remember who it's actually for, everything changes. And law number 7 is the big one. It is the law of the flame. Motivation doesn't last. And that's not a bug. Guys, that's a feature. And knowing that changes how you manage it. So, 7 laws, and I'm going to teach you one of them right now in full because I want you to leave this video with something you can use today. The law of the page says nothing happens until you get words on the page. Now, I know that sounds obvious, and you're right. Brian Tracy is one of the great personal development teachers of our time, and he has a term for these Captain Obvious moments. He calls them BGOs, blinding glimpses of the obvious. Things we already know, but haven't actually heard the right way yet. And when we hear them right, something clicks. So let me ask you, when's the last time you actually opened your manuscript and wrote something that moved your plot along? Not thought about it, not planned it or outlined it, wrote it. Because here's what I've learned. Most authors aren't struggling with their manuscript. They're struggling with getting to their manuscript. See, the gap between sitting on the couch and opening the laptop for a lot of people is the widest gap in their entire writing life. The late Jim Rohn, who I believe was the greatest personal development teacher who ever lived, used to say, you can get all excited about lifting 300 pounds until you get to the gym. And then you need a new excitement. And that excitement is called discipline. Same thing is true for your book. The inspiration that made you start it will not be enough to make you finish it. At some point, inspiration hands the baton to discipline. And discipline shows up whether you feel like it or not. So here's the BGO in the law of the page. There is actual magic in getting words on a page, even bad ones. I can't fully explain it, but one line leads to another, and that line leads to a paragraph, and the paragraph leads to a chapter, and before you know it, you got something you can actually work with. The momentum is real, but you'll never experience it sitting on the couch thinking about writing. The page is waiting. That's the law. You don't get to negotiate with it. Well, listen, if you recognize yourself somewhere in all this, I have a free gift for you today. Go to the link in the description and drop your email address. I will send you the full ebook of the 7 Inescapable Laws of Author Motivation completely free. No catch, no credit card, just the book in your inbox right now. And if you want to go deeper with the audio version of the book, the monthly Tinderbox Tapes lessons, the Monday morning meeting emails that keep all this stuff in front of you on autopilot, that is the Motivated Author Club. And it's $12 a month, less than a streaming service, and I'd argue it'll do more for your writing life. And if you're among the first 100 to sign up, you'll get the founder's rate of just $10 a month for the lifetime of your membership. The book you're supposed to write is waiting for you. Don't let another year go by. Stop quitting and start finishing. And I'll see you in the next one.